go has come in for Kirkes, and supposedly Newcastle have briefed their media and said it will be 150 to 200 million. They've agreed to that fee internally. They've told the press this. The fee has been set, but the reports are that Liverpool are going to pay it. The reports are Liverpool, they'll try and negotiate it down, but are going to pay it, and they are going to move for Alexander Isak.
Boy,
what are Liverpool doing right now, Dom?
Bro, they're trying to dominate. That's literally what they're trying to do right now. They're obviously trying to dominate, man, because you're going into a new era now. You know what I mean? Like all of the players that Pep had, well, most of them anyway, that won him a lot of the trophies that he's got, they've all left. You know what I'm saying? So Pep's now having to rebuild that team. Liverpool, obviously, they've come to the end of Klopp and a few of the players that they had before as well. But they've still got the likes of Salah. You've got Wirtz that comes into the team that, like I keep saying, will add more GA to that team. So they're not just dependent on Salah. You've got Kirkes, one of the best left backs in the Prem right now. You know, I wanted this guy at Chelsea, but obviously with Cucurella there, we don't need him. You know, and then you go and bring Isak, who arguably is the best striker in the world. You know, arguably the best striker in the league. Because some people will tell you Haaland, but when you look at the all-round game as well as the finishing, Isak is a better player for me. You know what I'm trying to say? So if they bring him in, bro, I don't see anyone beating them next season, man. Because what I saw from Slot really, really impressed me, Terry. You know what I mean? Because it's not just the players that I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at a manager that, sets his team up quite well. He can go from sitting back and getting you in a transition to controlling the game and consistently creating chances to beat you as well. He's so adaptable with what he does. You know what I mean? The in-game management I saw from that guy. I didn't really go away from many games last season thinking Slot fucked up today. You know what I'm saying? And that to me is a sign of a good manager. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, boy, it's going to be tough. They're definitely the benchmark. If they get Isak as well, I definitely see them retaining that. Man.
There's also Gahey they're looking at too, and that's picking up traction. So they could be adding Gahey to this. I mean, again, Wirtz is going to happen. Medical, I think, predominantly done. Kirkes, you're talking 40 million for a very talented left back. That's now today had the here we go. I think that's a phenomenal piece of business. Robertson's still good, but you can see he's past his best. Straight away, a top quality young replacement for him. We already know about Frimpong. The Isak deal, though, honestly, they're not just the favourites, they're the resounding favourites. And I was saying this earlier on this morning, and a few Liverpool fans didn't like it, but I actually think it's a bit of praise. I think Liverpool could be disappointed if they end the season with all these signings and the team they already have, only winning one major trophy. This could be a season where they could legitimately win 2 major trophies, 3 major trophies, dominate right across the board. I go back to that PSG game, and PSG had them on the ropes in PSG in Paris, but at home Liverpool were far more in it. If that was at home with Isak and Wirtz in the team, that extra firepower, that extra clinical edge. I would, if I could go back now and put a bet back on with those players in the team, I think at Anfield they knock them out. I think at Anfield they kill the game off with that extra. It's so for me, this is scary, bruv. This is scary, another level of scary.
Bro, listen, let's just break down the numbers. From Salah, I'm expecting comfortably over 20 GA in the league. Comfortably, right? From Isak, you're getting minimum 20 goals in that team. With Wirtz and Salah creating for him, bro, he's getting minimum 25 goals at least. At least if he stays fit, that is. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Wirtz. I'm expecting minimum 10 assists from him, right? Potentially even double-digit goals. But first year, I'll probably say he'll probably score maybe about 8 goals, 7 goals, something like that. You know what I mean? But you're looking at over 15 GA, right? Straight away, bro, it's hard to beat that. It's hard to beat that because they look at the back. They've still got Konate. They've still got Van Dijk. They've got Kirkes there. They've got Frimpong. That's a whole back line. Alisson's still staying as well this season, isn't it? He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and this is the thing for me. The numbers are there. The stat. Forget what anyone thinks about eye test. The goals are there. The assists are there. The midfield and defense is already in place. And in fact, the only caveat I would throw in is that the defense could be, as in the back four, could be 75% different to last year. New right back, new left back. Gahey, will he go straight into the team? Probably not. But there could be a little chemistry issue there potentially. On paper, there could be. But the rest of it is just sublime. Sophie B here says Newcastle won't even come into the table unless it's closer to 200 million. And Soph, you could be absolutely right. But I don't think Liverpool are walking away. I think Liverpool are going to do this. Where I stand on what I've always said, Soph, and I'll take this to my grave. If Isak's head turns 180, it's done. Because you're not going to get 200 million. It'll be closer to the 150. If not lower. If Isak says to Liverpool, I'd love to join, but I'm really happy here, then Liverpool ain't getting him for any money because Newcastle will just say no. It's if the player's head's turned and if he's uncomfortable, if it becomes an uncomfortable situation for him to stay. You know, that for me is the only time this happens. But the only way that I think they get Isak in that position is by showing him and saying essentially whatever they want. We've got the ability to pay, but there is a maximum. But, listen to Ben Jacobs talk about this. I think his words were to the effect of whatever the price, Liverpool willing to pay it. And we also know they're going to get the price down. Liverpool win in every negotiation. As much as Newcastle are on the way up, Liverpool just beat teams in negotiating. I don't even think that's a debate. They just
unless they meet us, unless they meet Chelsea in the window, then they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What I mean is they win in terms of the buyer or the seller. They may not beat every team to a player, but they last. I think Henry scoffed at that yesterday, and then we're live, and they're getting 30 million for Kwanzaa, bruv. None of our clubs, none of us, maybe City, none of us are doing that. Well, City do it too. I mean, they got like 25 million for that James Trafford, bruv. Like there are certain teams they're able to sell players for almost like that we'd all go, that's a 10 million pound player, 20 million pound player. What do you mean you're getting 30, 40 million? They've got
25 M's for Solanke as well, isn't it?
25 M's for Solanke. They've got 25 million for Jordan Ibe. They've got 25 million for that Brewster.
Oh, yeah. That was money laundering. How the fuck did they get 25 million for him? How the hell did they get 25 million for him? Someone needs to investigate these guys, bro. Yeah,
no, that I'm up for. I'm up for an investigation into how they're able to do it because it is a madness. Whether people 100%. Like it or not, it doesn't even make sense.
Brewster, 25 million, bro. That sounds like a Omari Kellerman deal. You know, we paid like what 25 million for him for that guy for the PSR help and that. I'm sure something was part of that for Brewster because he did fuck all.
Yeah, I wonder if the money's ever been. One question I would like to ask the financial experts: they get to say you sell a player for 25 million, that shows on your book straight away as 25 million, even if you haven't had the cash. I wonder what happens to bad debt. So. For anyone who doesn't know, bad debt is say you're a business and you invoice someone and it never gets paid. You might sue that company, but it still shows as a bad debt on your trading accounts. I would love to know what bad debts do to PSR. That's a question I think we need to ask and source because I'm not saying Liverpool are doing this. Let's say now, you know, Man United and Chelsea do a little. We'll give you 15. We'll give you 55 million for Mount. What if it turned out that all these deals that seem a little bit odd, why would you pay 25 for him? Why are we spending 50 on him? Why are we buying this guy for 20 million? Wouldn't it be interesting if investigations went in and found out that across the board, only like half the fees ever been paid, the rest of it gets written off as bad debt? I wouldn't be shocked, is what I'm saying. And I'm not blaming just Liverpool, all of us. I wouldn't be surprised. Never get released, though, innit? Exactly. I would never be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there was just we're going to scratch your back on this one. We're willing to pay 25. We want 50. Cool. We'll write it off as bad debt. If bad debt doesn't impact PSR, clubs will do it. They'll do it. Because the one you guys did, the worst one ever, and it still to this day makes my brain itch. You spent 35 million on Luis. He flopped first time round at Chelsea. You sold him for 50 million.
Yeah.
He did brilliantly. You brought him back for 25 million. I'm sitting there going, hang on. And he was still in his 20s. Like the maths here ain't mapping. How do you like it was the direction of the money, as in the fees, went in the opposite way to his form, ability, and his status in the game. It didn't even make sense. The Brewster and Ibe deals were before PSR came in. Well, let's go and see if that's true. Let's go to all Liverpool. It can't be true because Brewster was sold only about 4 or 5 years ago. So that one's a bit. That one's BS. Let's see when Ibe was sold.
Let's see,
Ibe was sold in. No, he was sold in 2016 to 2017. PSR and FFP has been in since 2013, 14, 15. So no, they were both outside of it.
Brewster's still playing for Sheffield, man. How?
I know. It's crazy dealings. But
I've been playing like non-league football now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That much money for him as well. Once Isak leaves Newcastle, he will join Arsenal. We have so much better projects going on. Can you see any? If he does leave Newcastle, do you think it's only Liverpool that will get him?
I mean, look, there'll be other teams that will be in the hat for him. Obviously, Arsenal, they've had a long admiration even of Isak. But right now, you're walking into a team that's trying to retain the league. You know what I mean? He's going to be looking at, they're bringing in Verts. He's looking at the creativity. He's looking at the likes of Salah, right? Arsenal fans will argue they've got Saka and that, but you already know what I think of their midfield, Terry, right? If you look at Liverpool's midfield in comparison to Arsenal's, bro, for me, Liverpool's midfield is better. You know what I'm saying? You can argue Arsenal's defense is better, but Liverpool's defense is very good. They finished with the second best defense last year, bro. You know what I mean? And then their attack with Isak there and Salah and that, it's mad. It's mad, bro. So I think it's a little bit easier right now for Liverpool to sell them the project, man, only because they've actually been able to get over the line. And Slot could just walk to Isak right now and say, bro, I come in first year, I won the league. We're going to do it again, right? Arteta, you can't really say that. He can't really say that, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I don't see Arsenal landing him over Liverpool. Personally, I can't see it in that regard. If he's going to leave Newcastle, I think Arsenal were attractive to him, but I think if Liverpool are really prepared to spend £150 million on him, they're going to be prepared to pay the salary. They've got the team, they've got the squad, and everything else that goes with it. I suppose the only element, and even then you can argue Saka, that Arsenal could sell is they're going to make him the crowning jewel of the team, where Salah's already the crowning jewel of the team. But then there is Saka there as well. Saka's the poster boy. So there's
even when you're looking at style of play, like when you're looking at the style of play, like if I'm Isak right now, I'd rather play for Liverpool, man. Right? Like when I was watching Liverpool playing, you know, in Chelsea at the beginning of the season, we were the best teams in terms of just watching us playing. You know what I'm saying? Liverpool playing some really good football, man, especially in 2024, right? 2025, they kind of dropped off a little bit, but when I'm looking at the style as well, I prefer how Slot sets up the team in comparison to how Arteta sets up the team. So that's probably something Isak could look at as well, man.
Yeah, definitely something for him to look at. No doubt about it. Sophie here says that PSG are also interested. Now, that for me, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this. That's what I want. If he's going to leave Newcastle, go PSG. Yes, it makes them stronger. Yes, it makes them a bigger European powerhouse, but it weakens Newcastle and it doesn't strengthen a Liverpool, an Arsenal, somebody else in the Premier League.
They're the best ones. They're the best ones, Terry, because it's like, you know, when you want to play like Nico Williams, for example, right? I'm sleeping at night knowing he's going to Barcelona because we want him, Arsenal want him, but we're not getting him. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to be out of the league. So it's like, cool, whatever. We lost out, but so did everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So if Isak goes to PSG, bro, that team, Doué, KK, you know what I'm saying? Dembele, Isak, the fluidity in that attack would be mad. It would be mad, bro. You know what I mean?
This year says I can't see Liverpool signing Isak as well. Need crazy money for replacement of VVD and Mo. But you're not necessarily. I'll tell you why it's not necessarily. It's not necessarily so. Because Gahey you're looking at, that could potentially be the replacement for Van Dijk, if not Konate, but you might address that later on down the line. I don't think you're ever going to be able to replace Salah like for like. So don't bother trying. Try and replace him in a different position. Try and replace his goals long-term in someone like an Isak. Try and replace his creativity in a player like Verts. Then in 2 years' time, if you've got those two and they're working, what you're then able to do is let's go and get a good right-sided attacker. Someone that right now you'd put in that kind of Bowen category or in Burmo category, where they don't have that burden and that pressure of having to pick up the mantle, the performances, the availability, the goals and the assists of Mo Salah, because that can be crippling. But in terms of crazy money, let's add the crazy money up, right? Let's say it's 70 million for Gahey, because that's what Spurs bid in January. 40 million Kirkes, 27 million Frimpong, versus 100 million, 100 million guarantee. And who else are they signing? Somebody else I'm forgetting.
Kirkes,
they're saying is 40 million. That's 177 million. Let's just go full whack, 200 million pounds on Isak. That's a total of 477 million. Now, to put that into context, Chelsea have done nearly 200 million more than that in the summer before, so it's doable. But they spent nothing last year. You divide that over 2 summers worth of money, you're only talking 138 million 2 years running. Now, if someone said Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Arsenal, we're going to spend 238 million 2 summers running, nobody would bat an eyelid. The money is crazy, but they've got the ability to spend it. And if these signings work, you come to next summer, they're barely going to have to spend.
See, that's the thing, though. They done themselves, though, Terry. Last summer, well, 2 summers ago now, trying to come in for Caicedo the way they did after they were bickering about 5 million for Lavia and whatnot, like what we was for fucking Manian, right? They showed everyone that if we really want to put the money down, we can do it. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they didn't spend money for Slot and now he's going to win the league, they obviously need to show that they're backing this guy, right? Liverpool are minted, bro. Liverpool have money. You know what I'm saying? These guys have bread to spend, yeah? And if they start to spend money the way that you would expect a big club to spend money, because we will criticize FSG all the time, bro. A lot of Liverpool fans will still say FSG out, right? But if they start to spend money the way they're spending it now, bro, like every summer or most summers where they're investing on top talent, right? They're going to be a problem because Liverpool are a big club, yeah? Liverpool are a massive club, bro. I know most of their glory days and that, most of Liverpool fans now wouldn't have seen it because that's when they won a lot. Like even me, my granddad was a Liverpool fan, you know what I'm saying, because of what he saw when he was a bit younger, what they were winning. But if they start to spend like this going forwards, boy, they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be dangerous, man.
Yeah.
That's always been my criticism for these guys. It's the lack of ambition, right?
No, I totally agree.